Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Healthy Cooking with Shayda. This is where I teach you how to make simple, healthy, delicious, plant-based meals that are salt, oil, and sugar-free. Today we are making a creamy mushroom bisque soup. Growing up, I loved mushroom soup. And what I loved about it, I guess, was all the butter and all the heavy creams and the wine and everything that went in that. And I wanted to recreate something similar to that, but not with all the added fats and all the oils and the butters and all that. So today we're making a healthier option, and my dear friend Erin brought me these beautiful fresh oysters. I mean, you guys need to see these. Look, this is what the oysters look like before they get all dried and cut up. And where's this? There's one that's this beautiful orange. You know, they look like a coral, like if you were deep sea diving or something, or snorkeling with all these coral reefs. So we are going to be putting in fresh oysters in here. This recipe is on my website, healthycookingwithshayda.com. So please, if you're following along, you can grab the recipe. I'm deviating just a tad bit, not much. There's, you know, just because I've got fresh oyster mushrooms here today, so I'm going to be putting that in here. So again, it's on the website. I'm not going to repost the recipe, so make sure you go to the website to get the recipe to this. What this calls for is about 2.5 pounds of sweet potatoes, and these are the Hannah sweet potatoes. And you want to, if they're organic, you don't need to peel them, but I'm a little weird. Even if it's organic, sometimes I still like to peel them. I don't know, there's just something about the skin, especially for this soup, that I just don't want it in there. But you could make this with the other yams. In fact, I was at Whole Foods about a couple of weeks ago, and this, you know, we've all become accustomed to the Hannah having the white flesh inside and having it be a little like a tan color on the outside. Well, what they had under the Hannah sweet potatoes was a little different. Theirs had, the skin was a little bit pink, and the inside was a little bit pink. And I thought, well, this doesn't make any sense, because every Hannah sweet potato that I've ever seen has always been with a tan outside color, and it had, you know, the tannish, whitish color on the inside. So I asked to see and to speak with the produce manager. So he came out, and I said, I'm really looking for the Hannah sweet potatoes. He goes, well, you've got them in your hand. And I said, but these don't look like Hannah sweet potatoes, because to me they're supposed to have like the white flesh on the inside and the tan color outside. He goes, you know, depending on which farm we go to, and if they haven't cross-pollinated, and these are the organics, this is a Hannah sweet potatoes. He goes, we shop from 2 or 3 different farms. So sometimes they're going to be the white flesh inside, sometimes there might be a light pink flesh inside, but it's still considered the Hannah. And what I noticed was that one, oh my God, it's so creamy. I think it's creamier than this one. But in fact, it is what it is. So don't be shocked if not all Hannah sweet potatoes look the same. You're gonna find different breeds. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and peeled and cut 2 more, because we wanted about 2.5 pounds. If you go and cut your potatoes ahead of time and you peel them ahead of time, please make sure to keep them in water. Why? Because they're going to oxidize and they're going to turn black, and that's not what you want. You've worked too hard to get these potatoes, so we don't, you know, we don't want them to, we don't want black potatoes in here. What we're going to add is about 2 pounds of baby Bella mushrooms. These are the baby Bellas. Now, you could just dump this in here, but what I'm finding is when you quarter these and then you put them in the Instant Pot, that they tend to blend better and they cook better, and it's a lot better, and it's easier when you've got your immersion blender and you want to blend it up. So that's why I do it. I know a lot of other people, they just dump it whole and call it a day, but it takes 2 minutes to cut this up. It doesn't take that long. And I actually wash the mushrooms I know that there's a lot of chefs out there that do not clean the mushrooms, and I find that there's a lot of dirt and grime in them. And yeah, so I wash it, I rinse it, I dry it, I brush it, like everything else, it gets washed. So we're gonna put those in there, and we're gonna take the rest of the mushrooms that I've already cut up and put that in here. And we're gonna take these beautiful oysters, and I'm gonna just chop them just a bit. We're gonna put those in there. Now, if I didn't have these, I would have probably put in some fresh shiitake mushrooms. I absolutely love shiitake and oyster. Those are my two favorites. And then also the porcini, those are really delicious as well. So we're gonna put all of that in here. It's gonna be mushroom heaven. Yeah. Now, the other thing that we're gonna do is, if you go to my Amazon page, you can see that the dried mushrooms that I get, because I add dried mushrooms to this. I really want this to have that deep, deep, deep texture and the smell of mushrooms, and I really want it to be mushroomy. So what I've done is I've taken about 2 cups of dried mushrooms, and the box that we have, and this was the last of it, I forgot to keep the box, but it is a gourmet blend of different types of mushrooms. So there's porcini, shiitake, oysters, there's all different kinds. And what it's been doing, if you look at it, it's been soaking in this water. So what the first thing you want to do is put the dried mushrooms in here. Then you're going to rinse it under cold water. When you rinse it, you're going to see all this dirt and grime that comes out of it. So you want to make sure that the water's running clear. Then you're going to take your bowl, and you're going to fill it up with water, because this water has been soaking these mushrooms. This is going to become your broth. You're going to have mushroom broth. And if you were here right now, this smells absolutely divine. This has been soaking, these mushrooms have been soaking in this water since I'd say 9 o'clock this morning, and it's right around 5 o'clock in the afternoon right now. So it's just heavenly. And then we're going to take that, put that in here. More mushrooms. You guys probably think I'm crazy, but this is a mushroom soup after all, right? So then we're going to take, we have about 6 cups of the broth that we're going to put in here. If you wanted to use water, you certainly can. Instead of this mushroom broth, you could use vegetable broth if you wanted. And I'm sure they probably sell mushroom broth as well, but I don't know if it has oil added to it, salt added to it, all sorts of other stuff added to it, when you can make your own mushroom broth super, super easy. Let me see if I can lift this up to show you. Can you see that water, how dark it is? Yeah, it smells really good. So we're going to take 6 cups, and we're going to throw it in here. Well, not throw it, but we're going to, put 6 cups in here. Now the reason I'm not dumping the whole bowl in here is because what if some dirt and grime came out of it and is sitting on the bottom? That's the reason why I don't do that. So this is number 3. 4. And we are making this in the 8 quart, and I recommend that you make this in the 8 quart because we're going to put a little bit more because those weren't full. I recommend that you make this in the 8 quart because this makes a lot of mushroom soup. So don't put it in the 6 quart. The 6 quart's not going to fit. It won't work. The rest of this is going to get thrown out, and there is a little bit of the dirt and grime on the bottom, which is fine. We didn't use it, so it's going back in there. We're gonna add, could you hand me 1 onion, please? I have my buddy Aaron here, thank God, to help me. I forgot to put an onion, and nobody caught me on the onion. Thank you so much. So, let's cut up this onion. Now, you could use white onion, yellow onion, sweet onion, red onion. Your choice, whichever onion that works for you, go ahead and use that. So we're going to take the outer skin, the outer off. And it better not make me cry, as most onions do. So let's see, the skin doesn't want to come off. There we go, we got it. And then we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Oh. There we go, got the paper. Okay, so we're just gonna quarter that, put that in here. Oh, my glove is ripping. So much for the glove, but it's okay. Then we're gonna put that in here. What else are we gonna put in here? We're gonna put, oh my goodness, that onion, I gotta tell you, was really, woo! My eyes are like, oh, it looks like I'm gonna cry, but I'm not crying. So we're gonna put a whole packet of garlic in here. You wanna put 8 to 10 cloves of garlic, fine. You wanna put less garlic, fine. You wanna put more, that's fine too. It's really your taste. And so I am putting the whole packet in here. What else am I adding to this? I will add half a cup of the rolled oats. Now this is gluten-free. I do get this at Trader Joe's. I'm sure you can get this online as well. So we're going to add a half a cup of rolled oats. And the reason I'm adding the oats is to thicken it up a little bit. We're going to add oats in here. We are going to add 2 tablespoons of Bensons Table Tasty. This is a salt substitute that's got dried celery. What does it have in here? Dried celery, lemon, peppers, really good stuff in here. So we're going to add 2 tablespoons. Put that in here. Now you see why you need to use the 8 quart, because this makes a lot. What else we're going to add in here? We are going to add 1 teaspoon of thyme. This is dried thyme that we're going to use. And we're also going to add 1 teaspoon of rosemary. Again, this is dried rosemary. These little canisters, they're a little hard for them to come out of. Okay, so we got about 1 teaspoon. Now, the other thing I'm going to add to this, because I like a little kick, we are going to use, it's called medium hot crushed red peppers. So we're going to add that in here. Now, if you don't want to add this is totally optional, but a little heat is always good. So we're going to add a little bit of heat in here. But if you don't want to use it, you certainly do not have to. And I think we've got everything in here that needs to go in at this point. We are going to put the lid on. Now I have this on so that when we're releasing the pressure is going to come out. It's not going to go straight to the ceiling and ruin my cabinets or the ceiling. It's going to come straight out. And we're going to do this on high pressure. Let's see, do I see it? Manual. And we're going to go for 10 minutes. And so stay tuned, and we're going to show you what happens in 10 minutes. All right, guys, so it looks like we've got less than a minute left. Let me double check. I think, well, it's on 1, but it's got less than a minute left that it's coming up to pressure. It's actually cooked. We're going to release the pressure. That's the next step that we're going to do. And then once we've released the pressure, you hear that beep? So we're ready to go. So I'm going to release the pressure, and this will take about 10 minutes. So here we go. And you see how when you have this on, it redirects the air? So that way it's not damaging your cabinets or your ceiling. So So the pressure is completely down, so let's go ahead and take off the lid. Just be careful when you're taking the lid off, because all that steam's gonna come up. And you wanna give this a good mix that's in here. Everything that's, oh my God, I wish you guys would hear it. It smells so good in here. It smells absolutely delicious. It's got that rich, deep mushroom flavor. So to this, we're going to add, it's up to you. Today I'm using unsweetened almond milk. I typically make this with coconut milk, but since I didn't have the coconut milk and I have the almond milk, I'm going to add that. You can add, it depends on how thick you like it. You can add 3 cups or 4, and I typically, Mom and I like it with 3 cups, so we are going to add 3 cups of almond milk to this. Or you could put any nut milk, or not nut milk, but plant milk that you like to this. And if you make your own almond milk, that's even better. So we're gonna add 1 more. There we go. And to this, we are going to add 5 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. This is the Sorry Foods, and it is gluten-free, non-GMO, dairy-free, no MSG, and it is the 100% non-fortified. So when you're purchasing nutritional yeast, please make sure that you are purchasing the unfortified. That's the one you want. And again, this is on my Amazon page, and you can find it there. Or if you go to the stores, again, you can find them there. So we're going to add about 5 tablespoons, and this is what's going to give it a little bit of a cheesy flavor. Also going to add mustard to this. Now, I personally like Grey Poupon, and it has salt in here, so I'm okay with a little bit of salt being in my food. But if you are strictly following a no salt diet, please use West Bray. It is a salt-free mustard, and you can put that in here. But again, completely your choice. So I'm going to add 3 tablespoons to here. We're going to give this a little bit of a mix. And then I want you to grab your immersion blender, and we're going to blend up this soup like so. So we're going to go ahead and put this in. And the nice thing is you can blend right in here. You know, back in the day you would have to take it out of here and put it in your Vitamix and then pour it back in. But because this is stainless steel, not a problem. So we're going to go ahead and blend right in here. So we are done blending the soup. Everything's nice and creamy, and it's all blended in here. The last step to this soup that we're going to do, you are going to reserve some of your mushrooms that are sliced. We are going, because I want this soup to have a little texture. So we're going to add more mushrooms in here so that when you're eating this, you can get some mushroom and all that deliciousness. So we're going to mix this in here. We're not going to blend this. The mushroom is going to stay whole. Well, you know, just sliced up. It's going to stay in here. And we're going to leave this soup in here for about 30 minutes because I want this to really absorb all the nutrients and all the flavors, and I want the mushroom that we just put in here to cook up a little bit more. So I'm not going to turn the machine on. This is on warm right now. All I'm going to do is close the lid and leave it in here, and we're going to leave it in here for about 30 minutes, and then I'm going to show you what the final product looks like. So the mushrooms have been in here for about 30 minutes. So we're going to open this up and we're going to serve it and we're going to have a little taste test. Oh, this is so rich and creamy. I wish you guys were here. So, and you know what I've noticed, that the longer this sits, the more flavorful it becomes. It really becomes more and more delicious. So let me scoop some in here. Honestly, if you love mushrooms, you're gonna love this mushroom soup. Here it is. Here's our mushroom soup. Let's just have a little taste and see how it goes. There's nothing better than a good mushroom soup. I hope that you guys will give this a try. Again, the recipe is on my website at healthycookingwithshayda.com. If you like what you saw today, please consider giving us a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on all the other social medias under the same name. So remember, guys, it's one bite at a time, one meal at a time, and I look forward to seeing you all really soon. Thank you for joining us tonight.